YouTube? It's Holy One, and these are going to be my favorite games that I beat this year on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. Maybe some on other consoles, maybe not. So you could say this is my top 10 list, but make it whatever choice you want to be. So starting off this list, I got Assault Spy, which is a PC exclusive. So Assault Spy is basically a $30 game that came out in early access, and it is now a finished product. It basically has very heavy anime style, story to it. However, what makes this game unique and really fun is its gameplay is like Devil May Cry, but even more refined. And it's very smooth the way it plays with this action style in this game. And the fact that it's exclusive to PC and not on other system is kind of baffling to me, because it's just screaming to be on a PS4 or something like that. And Assault Spy is pretty good for the price. I mean, there's a 4-hour story mode, which is basically you climbing up a corporate tower to fight, the corporate hackers and espionage and sort of thing like that. Then there's an alternate storyline to that. So roughly it's an 8-hour game, but for the price, you can't go wrong. And if you own a PC, this game is not difficult to run whatsoever. So definitely check out Assault Spy if you can. Another game on my list is God of War 4, of course, or God of War, boy. Let's go, boy. So, God of War 4, it's not my most favorite God of War, but I like how they changed things around. The graphics in the game are pretty good. The story is interesting. I feel like they took parts out of it because I heard the game was rushed. Like, there were these worlds I wanted to explore in the game, and they weren't accessible, but overall, the game was good, father and son bonding and all this sort of thing. Gameplay was solid, and no spoiler, but the ending was pretty interesting, so they definitely have a sequel with that. I probably might play the sequel, who knows, but yeah, God of War 4 definitely has to be on my list. It's not my Gotti, but we'll get to what my Gotti is soon enough. So, moving on, we have Cyber Dimension Neptunia 4, Goddesses Online. I'm a fan of the Cyber Dimension games, and this is their latest game in the franchise. It is another spin-off, of course. This one is basically, because each Cyber Dimension game that releases makes fun of like a franchise or something, and this one is making fun of, like the Sword Art Online fans, and my last game, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, was dog shit. This game is definitely a better alternative. The story is basically the same as any Cyber Dimension game. It's funny. It's got those, funny moments, and it has interesting gameplay, that's for sure. I enjoyed the gameplay. They definitely took an RPG route with this game, and I thought that was very enjoyable. So if you guys want to check out an action RPG and you're a fan of like a JRPG fan or a Cyber Dimension fan, definitely give this game a check out. So let's put Cyber Dimension on my list. Moving up the list, we have Omen Sight. Omen Sight was probably my favorite indie game of this year, and it's probably the most underrated indie game that went under a lot of people's radars. So, Omen Sight's graphics look a lot like Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if you're a fan of that art style, Omen Sight is great, and it's only a $20 indie game. It's about 8 hours long. The story premises of the game is you have to travel back in time to figure out why the world is ending and why this darkness is coming, to fruition to destroy the world. And it's an action RPG. It's an action game. Really fun. Definitely check out Omen Sight if you can. Definitely a game to be recognized for Indie Game of the Year, something like that. Moving up the list, we have Xenoblade 2, Torn of the Golden Country on the Nintendo Switch. This expansion is really good. The music in the game is awesome. It's a bit tedious with the quests, but as it advances the story, it gives you an outlook on the backstory to Xenoblade 2, which I thought was awesome. So definitely check out this expansion if you own a copy of Xenoblade 2. I beat it in 12 hours, but that's because I'm really good at games. But if you guys can, definitely check out this expansion. I think it's only $30 if you want to get it physical. You can get a physical copy of the game. So, and the digital, I think, actually the digital's $30 and the $40 for the physical version. So that's number whatever on my list. Up next is Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now, I haven't had fun in a 2D fighting game in a while. Except for maybe Soul Calibur. But Yeah, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a phenomenal game. The art style is amazing, and it runs buttery smooth on whatever system you want to play it on, whether it's Switch, PS4, Xbox, or PC. I played it on PC, of course. The story mode is just, rehash fights from clone villains, but it has a unique story to it in the end when you get a Majin fighter on the team. So if you want a competitive 2D fighting game, definitely check this out. It is a great fighting game and definitely worth having. So, definitely give this game a check out. Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you want to get more on people to play online, definitely get the console version, but the PC version is also really good, so don't be afraid to get that one either. Moving on my list, I got Valkyria Chronicles 4. The last Valkyria Chronicles I beat was obviously Valkyria Chronicles 1, which was on the PC. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is just as good as the first one was, in my opinion. The story takes place in roughly the same period as the first game, but it's still really good with the tactical RPG. It also has some funny ass moments and has that anime style. If you want a really good tactical RPG, definitely give this game a look. It's really good. So if you're a fan of any of the Valkyria games, definitely give this game a look. Next up, I got Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. I never beat the first Ni no Kuni because I couldn't really get into it. But in my personal opinion, I think Ni no Kuni 2 is a much better game. The art style is really good. They take inspiration from the movies that Level 5 and those guys made, like Kiki's Adventures and sort of thing like that. The story is basically, a boy trying to retake his kingdom and fight this evil that's looming over the lands. Each environment is awesome to look at, and the combat can be easy for some people, but they patched in a higher difficulty mode. So I beat the game in about 30 hours. So if you guys want to get into a RPG like this, definitely check out Ni no Kuni 2. It is really good. It goes on sale a lot. So if you can get your hands a copy of this, definitely give Ni no Kuni 2 a look. And for number 2, Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI is not my Gotti of the Year, even though I was praising it to be, but unfortunately it did not make the cut. But either way, Dragon Quest XI is probably the best JRPG I've played in over a decade. They've refined the gameplay of a JRPG like this. The art style and the textures, the graphics is really cool. They really utilized Unreal Engine 4 to make the graphics look really good with the unique art style of a JRPG. The story is very JRPG heavy and all that sort of thing. It's a boy who leaves his village. He was born, he was like, the chosen one, all that sort of thing. And it's Dragon Quest, so if you like Dragon Quest, definitely check this game out. You will not be disappointed. The game is phenomenal. I beat it in about 80 hours, and that's not including the after story, which you can unlock after you beat the game, which adds even more content to the game as well. And you definitely can build a personal relationship with each character in the game, except for maybe like one of them. So definitely check this game out. It's on Steam and PS4, and it's coming to the Switch. So if you own any of those systems, definitely check out Dragon Quest XI. So for my number 1 game, and for Gotti of the Year, it's Monster Hunter World. And this is the first Monster Hunter World that I actually got into and beat. Like, thoroughly put my time into. I've spent over 500 hours in this game. Close to 600 at this point. I love how each area of the game you go to is unique and different. Whether it's the coral reefs, the corpse, the rotten vale. And each monster you fight is either small, big, and you have to decide how you want to fight them. There's so many different weapon classes. I prefer to use the long sword or the one that shoots out the bug. And yeah, this game really challenged me. Like it's not easy. Like after you beat the story mode, you unlock even more monsters, ranks. And there's a hard mode you unlock so you get better gear. The point of this game is to unlock armor. And unlike Destiny, it actually does it right. Like each armor you unlock, you can build a certain armor set. I even have my boys in me go on and fight the behemoth, like the toughest monster in the fight. And just when you think you're about to kill the monster, some other monster might come out of nowhere and kill your ass while trying to kill the other monster that you're trying to kill. It is so awesome. Now, I played the game on PC, of course, because it runs a hell of a lot better on PC than the consoles. The console version runs like really bad. Just check out Digital Foundry's videos if you guys want. So, if you guys are newcomers to Monster Hunter World, Don't be afraid to pick this game up if you want a challenge. I got every achievement in this game, and it was well worth the asking price I paid for this game. And all the DLC they release is free. Every event they release is free. Every expansion they release is free. The new expansion they'll be releasing next year is Frostborn, and they're taking a year to develop this, and it's going to add even more monsters and more detail. This game is just so good. It's just really good. Like, if you just want mindless fun after you beat the story mode of it, like, the story mode is nothing to like talk about or anything like that, but you could use the environment to kill the monsters and all sort of thing. I have nothing good but to say about this game. It is just that good. So, if you can get your hands on Monster Hunter World on a sale, definitely check it out. It's my Gotti of the year. So, let me know what you guys think. This is your boy Holy One, out!